Viewers, g'day, Tim from Addison Appliances. Welcome to the studio. Now I know, we talk about these a lot, heat pump hot water systems, but this is a pretty significant release from Panasonic. This is the all new Panasonic split system CO2 heat pump hot water system. A massive shout out to Reclaim Energy, who have partnered with Panasonic to bring these fantastic units into Australia. Reclaim themselves have made fantastic high quality heat pumps for years, and this is now another genuinely high quality heat pump hot water system for the consumers in Australia to choose from. With this Panasonic CO2 split system heat pump, the compressor comes in two sizes, 4 kilowatt and 6 kilowatt, which is what we have here, nice and robust and powerful for those bigger homes, plenty of people living there. And the 4 kilowatt, nice and versatile for those houses with smaller numbers of people living there. And on this side, we have the tank. That comes in three sizes, 250 litres, 315 litres, which is this one here, and 400 litres. So given those options, this system can be very versatile. You could pair the 4 kilowatt with the 250 litre tank, if it's a 2-bedroom home with 2 people living there, still plenty of hot water. Or you could have the 6 kilowatt with the 400 litre tank if you've got a bunch of kids that need a shower in the morning before school and the parents need a shower before work, and that tank needs to be heating water all morning. Now for the tanks, there are two lining options. There's Vitreous enamel, which essentially means glass, and there's stainless steel. Now there's lots of debate on which is better. They're both very good. However, the glass-lined tank has a sacrificial anode. That sacrificial anode allows things like limescale, other deposits and build-up to attach to it rather than the glass-lined tank. And every 5 to 7 years, you have to replace that sacrificial anode. Whereas the stainless steel tank, you don't have a sacrificial anode because that build-up can't attach itself to the stainless steel. Now the glass-lined tanks are cheaper, and the stainless steel tanks are more expensive. So that can factor into your decision-making process when you're thinking of buying one of these fantastic units. Viewers, we get a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about volume and noise of units like these. This compressor unit runs at 37 decibels. Now, 40 decibels is a quiet library, which means this is quieter than a quiet library, which means this is quieter than a quiet thing. So with this running, you're not going to upset your neighbours, and you're certainly not going to upset anyone in the house that's a light sleeper. Extremely quiet. Now, what else stands out about these beautiful units? Well, there's a couple of facts and figures that make it really stand out in terms of efficiency. One of them is COP rating. You'll see that all the time with heat pump hot water systems. COP rating. It means a coefficient of performance rating. It essentially means how much electrical energy went in and how much heat energy came out. With the largest 6 kilowatt compressor here, you get a COP rating of 6 to 1. So for every 1 kilowatt of electrical energy input, you get 6 kilowatts of heat energy output. With the smaller 4 kilowatt unit, it's a similar measurement, but it's 5 to 1. So for every 1 kilowatt of electrical energy in, you get 5 kilowatts of heat energy out. So both of them very, very efficient systems. So how does a heat pump hot water system actually heat water? Well, there is a fan here, and behind the fan there is like a radiator coil set up. And the fan draws in air, and even on a cold morning, there's still heat energy sitting in that air. That air runs over the coils and the refrigerant grabs onto it. So now there's a little bit of warmth in the refrigerant, not too much. That CO2 refrigerant that is uncompressed is carrying that small amount of heat and then is sent into a compressor. That compressor squeezes that CO2 refrigerant down really tightly, which creates heat, a lot of it. Now the benefit of using CO2 refrigerant is you can compress that CO2 refrigerant down even more, which creates more heat, which is why units like these using CO2 refrigerant can heat up water much more efficiently than most. Once the CO2 refrigerant is extremely compressed and extremely hot, it runs through a second coil, this one around your tank, and while running through that coil, it gives up its heat energy to the water, allowing the water to get hot. Then the refrigerant passes through a valve where the pressure drops suddenly and allows the refrigerant to cool. It heads back into the compressor, allows it to take more heat energy from the air, and the system repeats for as long as you need hot water. In plain terms, it means that even down to temperatures as cold as -10, the system can still work efficiently at drawing the heat energy that's still in the air. And there still is heat energy in the air, compressing it down and warming your water in your tank. Now, as discussed before, the CO2 refrigerant used in these units is better for the world. It has an ozone depletion rating of 0 and a global warming potential of 1. Very low, it's not flammable, and it can be used under higher pressure, which means you get more efficiency out of it. Another fantastic feature with these units is you can control these from the Panasonic phone app. So you can jump into the app, you can change the temperature, you can set it to holiday mode, you can set it to boost mode, and you can head in the app and set these to run on your solar and PV battery systems. Just an important note about the installation of these split system units. This compressor here runs on a standard 10 amp power plug. We've all seen these, your kettle, your TV. So that needs to be plugged into a GPO, a general power outlet, an external one. If you have one installed in the area where this is going to go, perfect, plug this in and away you go. If you don't, you'll need one installed, and we can run you through what's involved with getting a GPO installed. What you do get with a unit like this is versatility and a very high level of efficiency. As we discussed, you can choose the 4 or 6 kilowatt with a different size tank, and away you go. Specific to your home. One last thing about installation of these Ripper units. If you get in contact with Addison Appliances, you can fill out our inquiry form and we can generally quote you with a few photos of your switchboard, where you wish it to go, where the current unit you have is, with this gas or electric, and then we can quote you digitally. Now for trickier jobs, we may have to go out and do a site assessment, but more often than not, we can do it via the inquiry form and a few photos. Rebates, rebates, rebates. Yes, there are rebates available for upgrading to a heat pump hot water system in your home. There are 3 rebates available. There is the STC, which is a federal small scale technology rebate. There is the Victorian Energy and Efficiency Certificate rebate, and there is also the Solar Victoria heat pump rebate. One thing to flag with the Solar Victoria rebate is the eligibility has changed. Before June 30 this year, the eligibility ceiling for household income was $210,000. After June 30, that reduced to a combined household income of $150,000. So that is something to be aware of when you're considering a heat pump hot water system. Now, if you're thinking about getting a heat pump system installed, but you're unsure about sizing, what kilowatt draw you need, head to our website, fill out our heat pump inquiry form, and we can get in touch and advise you on what unit would be perfect for your home. Don't forget, for product advice and installations, contact Addison Appliances.